Right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our monthly mumblings with Tara and Nicole. If you haven't been here before, this is where we talk about what's been going on in our world in working with pregnant women, birthing women, and postpartum women. And I'm Nicole. I'm a former midwife of 18 years, and I run Essentially Birth, where I've been helping women from all over Northern Ireland with their baby positioning, pregnancy pain, birth preparation, curbing the late pregnancy anxiety. And yeah, I do that through massage and fascia release.
And I'm Tara. I am a pregnancy yoga teacher. I am a doula and I am a mum of three. And I also work in Belfast in Northern Ireland. And I have a little studio called the Little Yoga House, and it's a little haven for women of all life stages. But my passion is working in that kind of pregnancy, birth, and postnatal period. So I teach yoga for all women, and I am also a reflexologist. And yeah, so movement is really my passion, and movement for birth and movement in pregnancy. And yeah, just helping women feel confident about a movement strategy to support their pregnancy and their birth.
Mhm. Which is why we collaborate, isn't it? We've
It
got our flagship course called Born Through Yoga, which is a movement for pregnancy and birth course. And also, it talks about nurturing your newborn baby as well. So yeah, that's our little baby that we have together.
is.
Um, yeah, what's been going on in your world recently, Tara, in this last month or so?
So pregnancy classes are a real mixture at the moment of women who are very early on in their pregnancy and then women who are coming to the very end stages of their pregnancy. So I just had a wee text message before we jumped on here this morning to say, no sight of baby yet. Can I come to class again tonight? And this mummy is now 41 weeks pregnant with her third baby. And it is something I get asked all the time. Like, what stage can I start pregnancy yoga? What stage do I have to finish pregnancy yoga? Well, the only time I'll tell you pregnancy yoga maybe isn't the class for you is when there's no longer a bump, when you've got your baby in your arms. So really you want to find that happy medium between rest and movement throughout your whole pregnancy. So
Mhm.
I welcome women to classes. Years ago, it used to be from 12 weeks, but now we actually say, anytime that you want to come, because pregnancy yoga is very gentle, it's very nurturing, and it's also about that kind of peer-to-peer support within the community. So anybody who wants to join can get in touch with me at any stage. And yeah, more than likely will just be welcome to come into class whenever it suits them.
Mhm.
But what's been going on in classes is that there's been quite a lot of curveballs being thrown for these women who are at these very later stages. Of pregnancy.
Mhm.
And because of my work as a doula and working with the doulas of NI, what
Mhm.
I'm really seeing is lots of home births being cancelled.
Mhm.
And obviously, home births are not the only way that women who come to classes birth. We have women who are planning home births, hospital births, caesarean births. But yeah, just lots of little curveballs kind of being thrown in the mix.
Mhm.
Maybe women planning VBACs. Um, and that being supported the whole way through, and then just at the last minute we'll know actually. So yeah, lots of curveballs, which is obviously very challenging for everybody involved.
Mhm.
um
Mhm.
so just working a bit with the breath to calm the nervous system and just try and ask the women, well, are you happy with this path your birth is now taken, or do you want to set up some communications with, say, consultant midwives or whatever, to be the voice back in the room? It's not, you shouldn't be being told what way you should birth. You always need to be that. So some women do want to push back and some women don't, and that's
Mhm.
completely fine. So um yeah,
Yeah.
there's just lots to work on.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, actually, it's very interesting because quite often when we do sit together then and have a chat, I'm finding the exact same,
Yeah.
and I promise it's not rehearsed. But it is the exact same theme. So it does seem to be something that most women are now facing. And if you have your heart set on home birth and you're starting to plan for that, yeah, I mean, like you said, home birth is obviously not the only way to give birth, by no means at all. It's just that if you have been planning it and there's no, you're not anticipating that it's going to be cancelled for whatever the reason may be, then it's such a disappointment, and it's something to wrap your head around. And we do talk, of course, about changing plans in our program. We talk about changing plans, sure. If an occasion arises that warrants it, for sure. Like transfer of care to the hospital or whatever, it might happen. We've always talked about this over the years, but I think it's more so now that you see, you know, these things not going ahead when we thought they might. So years ago, somebody plans a home birth, uh, you know, pregnant, maybe even a first baby, and you go on ahead, and then yes, there are a few jitters at the end, but this sort of real major disruption of your central nervous system and the anxiety that comes with it. I've never seen it like what it is now, and it's hard to support. It's hard to know what the answer is because, yeah, so yes, of course, it's always, you bring it back to the breath, bit of gentle movement, regulate your own system. But what's the answer for women who are now finding themselves with the option of home birth removed? And as you say, some people want to then advocate for themselves and they want to speak to consultant midwives and go the path, and other women just don't want to do that. And I think I totally get that too, because doing that is going to ramp up your, anxiety, because
Yeah.
now all of a sudden you have to, you know, negotiate and talk to people and stand your ground and sometimes disagree with people, who are,
Which doesn't come
oh
naturally
no,
to most
yeah,
people. And we talk about it as white coat syndrome.
yeah,
And again, thinking about the whole like family,
mhm,
you might find that the women want to push back, but then the partner
yes,
is the one. I don't mean standing on the sidelines because they shouldn't be on the sidelines, they should be involved. But then there's a disconnect there, which then brings a whole nother level of anxiety and worry and stress. And yeah, it's very challenging times birthing babies at the moment.
yeah,
And I think that's why, my work in group settings is fantastic and that kind of peer-to-peer support. I think it's just constantly educating women and their families that there is support out there, whatever path it is that you want to take, but just always remember that you're going to be the one left sitting with how this birth went. You're going to be sitting with it in your mind and in your body as well. So the group work is fantastic, but then obviously having the chance to work with women on a one-to-one too if they want to go a wee bit deeper with things. So, in my work as a doula or with reflexology, but that is definitely what I'm seeing a lot more with the pregnancy reflexology. Maybe women would have just been coming in to like prepare the body for birth, whereas now it's more kind of they just need an hour to kind of rest and not think
mhm,
about the pregnancy because it's just getting so overwhelming.
yeah,
And
yeah,
obviously the reflexology works on such a deeper level that it'll, support them for weeks to come. But yeah, it's and I think, we've always talked about um birth being this continuum, pregnancy, birth, and then postnatal. But I think, now when it comes to pregnancy and birth, you do need to be, yes, have your first choice and lean completely into that, but also be aware of what else is on offer in case at these last stages things crop up.
mhm,
So it's not just this last minute kind of panic. And I think that's, we've seen it over the years, but now it's more so than ever, but that's why we developed our app the way we did, that we could take you through on our birth education section, where we take you through what to expect at your appointments and what things might come up at these later scans and what your choices are and what your options are. And I think now more than ever, it sounds nearly like you're preempting something negative, but it's not. It's just, I think this is how you become informed, and this is changing, So
Yeah.
um,
I think that's true. And isn't it so lovely? Our group at the moment, there's such a chatty group in the
yeah,
chat group, and
they
we
all remember each
friends, and
other's estimated due
due
dates
dates and
and
everything. It's so lovely.
yeah, meet them for coffee and talking about the wobbles
Yes,
of
yes,
pregnancy and birth and this kind of like invisible load towards the end of your
yeah,
pregnancy of like,
yeah.
oh, what's gonna
Yeah,
happen?
so I mean, if you're in our in-person workshops, you get access to the online program, and then you get access to a WhatsApp group that is shared between all the couples. And this group, just at the moment, they're very, very social with each other, and so we're just on the sidelines. And if there's questions coming up about last minute appointments and things like that, then we can point them to where the information is in the app, or also just give some general guidance on where to find more information. And I think, like you say, at the moment, it's not easy to be pregnant and to make choices. That's just the way it is. But then you can still, within this framework, have a positive experience, and kind of set yourself up for a positive pathway. And and I think just knowing what to expect, and also knowing, what your stats are and chances. We've talked about this before around water birth. The odds for water birth nowadays are slim. Even if you really, really want it, I would almost say that, that you do need to prepare and push, unless you're incredibly lucky. But we were talking about stats the other day. It's sort of under like 5%, but in some trusts it's more around the 1% and even lower. So that's a good thing to know, so that whenever you do come forward, it's like, that the average, if you want to up your chances, you are going to have to advocate a bit. And if you have people in the background cheering for you and supporting you and actually giving you a strategy on how to advocate for yourself, then you're more likely to end up with the type of birth you want. And by the way, you're doing the cesarean section workshop, so it's, we're supporting you in whatever it is you want, and actually also, preparing you for the possibility of having a cesarean section, because the cesarean section rate is actually, at this stage in Northern Ireland, 42% overall. So chances are that it's good to be prepared for it. Let's
Yeah,
just say.
it's good to be prepared for all types of birth, I think. I nearly even think all women should prepare for a home birth and then,
Yeah. Yes, I
you
think,
know,
yeah, I think that's very true, because if you do that, then that kind of takes into account all other possibilities anyway. But like, if you prepare for a home birth, you're certainly looking at the physiology of your
yeah.
birth as well.
And, I think there's a common misconception, that doulas only support home births. I like to think that perception is changing over time, but then I still get messages, from people saying, oh, I've decided I'm not going to go for a home birth, but, just wondering, would you still support such and such? I'm like, yes, 100%, because, doulas support all. Yes, you will have doulas who maybe only support home birth, and that's completely their choice. But for me, I am a mum of three. I've had one vaginal birth, I have had two cesarean births, and I'm immersed in pregnant women every day of the week and birth as well, So it, for me, it would be, yeah, would be madness just to be like, no, I'm just going to be. So what would happen, if I was just a home birth doula? Would I like just then leave if you move to hospital? If you transferred. So no, I will support all types of birth. And I think for me, that's the beauty of my role in pregnancy yoga. Like variety's the spice of life. I'll hold your hand and be your cheerleader, whatever type of birth you want to have. But you need to be honest with me about what type of birth you want to have so that I can really support you. Because I've been there. I've been there myself as a mum, and I've been there with so many clients as well.
Mm,
You can have a really positive birth, whatever type of birth you want to have. But the more information you know about it, and the more you lean into your personality and what that's like, the more you're going to have that calm nervous system, the more you're going to enjoy your birth as well. And that just sets you up for those very early postnatal
mm,
days as well.
mm.
Um,
And I think, like you said, prepare for the home birth and prepare with a bias towards our own physiology for sure. Prepare with a bias towards what it would be to be on that continuum to conceive, then to be pregnant until you go into labor, and then to be in labor until you have a baby, and then to have your baby on your chest until there's a placenta. Well, that would be our default as so if we prepare with curiosity about how that works smoothly, then if it's not working, and that's what I often talk about when I talk about induction of labor, for instance, is that, you know, if that's not what's happening, how could you bridge the hormonal gaps that are gonna then occur, which are gonna make feeding maybe a little bit more challenging or any of those types of things. So I think that's important too.
yeah.
Mm.
Cool. Well, we have another workshop coming up on the 24th of April. Is that right? 29th of
Bring it
April?
down. Let me have a look here. It's the 26th.
26th of April,
It's
Sunday
a
the
Sunday.
26th.
It's
Yeah.
Sunday, the
And this,
26th of
yeah.
April.
For
And,
you and your birth partner. And yeah, we have a couple of spaces left.
mm, and we would love to see you at Born Through Yoga.
Yeah, if you can't join us for an in-person course as well, we do actually have our online option as well. And we've just launched our What Everyone Needs to Know series, which is also going to be online. And this is talking about some of the biggest questions that we get asked around induction and cesarean birth. So yeah, there's something for everyone when it comes to Born Through Yoga.
Absolutely. We'll see you soon at
Alrighty, chat soon.
our next workshop.